Do you want to know something crazy? Every minute, 79 years of video gets streamed on YouTube now. That's almost double Netflix. But not only that, since 2018, the amount of channels has exploded from 23 to 114 million. Now, this has caused a pretty big problem. And really, I think it means every creator right now should be asking themselves this question. If YouTube is changing this fast, am I actually keeping up with it? What that means is, are you following advice that's now potentially outdated and holding you back? Or are you adapting to take advantage of this new scale to hit your own personal goals? Because I think the rules have changed. So in this video, I'm going to show you why I quit my channel with 370,000 subscribers, because I believe there's now a better way to do things that will make a bigger impact on the world. I'm going to show you the massive problem of YouTube that's triggered this decision, and I'm going to help you work out if you should pivot too, using a strategy that grew this channel from 0 to 300,000 subscribers in 12 months. Before I unpack the direction I'm going to be going in, for those of you who have been watching me for years who actually might care. But first, if you've not met me before, who the heck are you? Well, I'm Ed, and the channel that I decided to leave behind right now hit 370,000 subscribers and generated tens of millions of views. It was called Film Booth. And over the years, I became known for quirky videos that show people how to grow YouTube channels in kind of a different way to the old search method that everyone used to teach. Now, this channel started to pick up quite a lot of traction, and as a result, I started to work with lots of YouTube creators, and over the years, I've helped to generate them hundreds of millions of views and tens of millions of dollars. And that's pretty much what I spend every second of my day doing right now. So now you know who I am. Let me show you the list of problems that have developed on YouTube over the coming years that caused me to abandon that channel, and it might make you question your own strategy too. So Film Booth, just like your channel, has a niche, which in this case is growing YouTube channels. Then inside that niche, there's different viewers with different types of problems. So each ring you can see on the map on screen right now represents one of them. This ring is gamers, and they're wanting to learn how to grow a gaming channel. Now, a unique but potentially critical problem they have to deal with is the ups and downs of games trending. What that means is a new game can come out and explode, they can make videos about it, and their channel will explode too, and then that game becomes old and popularity vanishes, and that creator's screwed. So they have to learn how to pivot to find a new niche. But also, they should know how to plan ahead to protect themselves from it, right? As well as know how to monetize in different ways so that they can survive these potentially life-shattering situations that one day might arise. Then there's the tech channels. So these guys are really dependent on news. In the months where it's slow, their views drop a lot. So if they want to survive, they need to learn how to deal with that. They also need to know, well, how do they work with sponsors? How to navigate the lines of getting paid to review something that they don't really think is that great and make a living so they don't go broke. Then there's faceless automation channels. And with AI, wow, these things are breeding like rabbits. But they have their own set of problems too. For example, a niche can explode in popularity and vanish, so they always need to be on the lookout for new niches which they can monetize and replace that lost income. And they need to know a lot about the legal side of YouTube, as they come up against quite a lot of copyright issues. And then there's the entrepreneurs, and these guys just want to build a following to grow a business, so they need to learn how to build credibility fast using content, how to launch products, how to write sales copy, how to build teams, and how to turn views into leads, as well as how to build a channel in a way that allows them to run a business at the same time. But that's just the start, because we also have vloggers, car channels, makeup channels, entertainment channels, lifestyle channels, people who sit on the floor at the end of their bed talking to the camera channels, educators, short form channels, VR tubers, live streamers, podcasts, meditation channels, rain noise channels, music channels, and people who haven't even started yet channels. I could go on forever, but I would run out of breath and die. Now, you might be thinking, that's one heck of a messy chart, Ed. What on earth are you trying to show us? Let me just demystify this massive issue. I have, viewers have, my niche has in abundance, and maybe you do too. So at some point, no matter which of these rings viewers are, they all have the same problem that overlaps, which is this area here. I call it the crossover zone. What that means is, if you want to get big views, what do? Well, you make content that appeals to those problems. That way, you can get the attention of more people and longer watch time because everyone is interested in them, and then you get more views. Can you see the issue with this though? Firstly, only ever targeting this area means all of these unique problems around here, the critical ones for millions of people, never get covered. And due to YouTube's unique video ranking system, us creators have nervous breakdowns when we see anything below a 2 out of 10, so we all live in fear of targeting problems outside of this zone, and we go back to making what will get us our next 1 out of 10 instead. What that means is, particularly in my niche, viewers will never get the help they need in the areas most critical for their own success. What they just get is stuff that relates to the most people over and over again. But that's just the start. The second problem is another big one. So even when you talk about things that relate to everyone in this area, You need to give them examples to help them understand the more general information, right? And what that means is on Film Booth, for example, I might have used Mr. Beast to make a point about getting lots of clicks because loads of people know who he is. But then you get comments like this. I don't know how this applies to a knitting channel. Now, the thing is, what you will have said does apply. It sits in the crossover zone, it has to. But it's incredibly hard for viewers to apply knowledge when all the examples you are giving just feel so far removed from their own situation. I mean, how could someone relate Mr. Beast to knitting? You can't. When examples don't relate to viewers, this can cause a lot of confusion. And people can misinterpret your information, and then they act on what they thought it meant, and then this can mean your videos potentially cause more harm than good. And in Film Booth's niche in particular, the YouTube growth niche, it's a huge problem. Because I'm constantly hearing from people saying, oh, I did what I saw in this video, and they did the exact opposite of what they should have done because the example given to follow was not relevant to them in the first place, so it's not really their fault. Now, the irony of all of this is, the video you're watching right now could actually cause the same problem too. So please keep that in mind whilst you continue to watch. Which brings us to the third big problem. So each of these rings actually has more rings within it. It gets even messier. We have the beginners, we have the intermediates, we have the professionals. And what that means is if you want to keep all of these types of creators and all of these expertise levels clicking and watching to get big views, you have to make videos that target common problems in the crossover area, we know that, but then you have to present that information in a way that all of them can easily understand. But how do you keep a beginner and a pro happy that are in two totally different rings? Well, if you want big views, you can't go too deep because the mass market is beginners and they'll leave because they don't understand and they feel overwhelmed, and that will mean your video struggles. And then you can't go too light because the intermediate could get bored. So what you have to do is remove anything that overwhelms or bores the mass market in your niche. And when you try to appeal to as many people as possible, this happens. Why is a channel called A Diary of a CEO making a video about why have gotten bigger? Well, you know why. Because it's mass market crossover zone content. Now, the good news is I've nearly stopped listing the problems, so let's just get this next one out of the way. Problem number 4 is that there are 114 million channels on YouTube now. And guess what? They all want views. Of course they do. And guess where they all aim? Here. So there's even more competition for the crossover zone in most niches now, and that's only going to increase as the younger generations are all wanting to become creators that get views. Okay, so hopefully you can understand the big problems YouTube currently has. Now let's look at why pivoting to become a specialist that only focuses on one of these rings within your niche can overcome all of these issues and actually help more people in a way that's more impactful. And this channel here used it to go from 0 to 300,000 subscribers in a year. Because even though it sounds like you're shrinking your audience, it could actually mean you get more views still. So let me explain. So the self-help niche on YouTube is massive. I would say there's thousands of problem rings in it. There's relationships, motivation, general happiness, productivity, and many, many, many more. There's also a gigantic amount of creators trying to break into it right now. The thing is, they all do the same thing, make videos that focus on the crossover zone. So they cover really big topics like how to get out of a rut, how to focus, how to become driven, how to be happy. And what that means is they compete against a massive amount of creators all doing the same thing, as well as some of the most experienced YouTubers in the game who have years of practice and a team working with them, meaning competition for impressions is insane. But this channel, well, they grew from 0 to 300,000 subscribers in a year with 25 videos because instead of aiming here, they aimed here. And they set themselves up as a specialist in using flow state to become a high-performing individual. Which sounds kind of unusual, right? But they're probably going to hit 1 million subscribers in the next 18 months as a result of this. Now, I have to state to Rian, he is an expert in the topic, and I met him and I've worked with his team, and he's an absolute genius, which of course helps. But despite that, the important thing to take notice of here is they didn't stray into making money videos or business growth or made videos like how to be happy to chase more views because that looks like the biggest opportunity. But also, if you watch one of their videos, they're not written for the mass market either. They intentionally try to put off the wrong people with the way they write their scripts so that they can make more of an impact with the right ones. Also, their videos are pretty long sometimes, so his channel's only really for people who want to take high performance more seriously, and what that means is he tells stories that the viewers he really wants to help relate to. And that delivers quality, life-changing information to a smaller group of people, and as a result, they leave comments like this. So even though he's one ring in the self-help niche, that group of people and specific problem are huge, and because he stuck to focusing more on impact with the right people than mass views with the general audience in the niche, is paying off. Only 4 videos from 25 in his first year haven't hit 100,000. This is almost unheard of in the education space, especially for a new channel. And this is why becoming a specialist in solving a big problem for a specific group of people is potentially a massive opportunity for you right now, because YouTube has become so big, these outer rings are too, and they could be a goldmine for you because there's less competition fighting for them. But actually, what's so appealing about specializing is this. If you really want to grow a following, you have to find a way to differentiate to all of the other people in your niche. It is absolutely critical, no matter which strategy you take. And that's very hard because, well, how can you instantly come across as different? Well, one way to do that is just to be a specialist. That way you can become associated with something. So people say, oh, it's the person who gets married couples back together. Oh, that's the person who teaches people to run the 100 meters 10 seconds faster. Oh, that's the person who helps people learn Spanish in 30 days. When you specialize, you differentiate, and that is a game changer. The thing is, pivoting to only serve one of these rings in my niche is the right decision for me, and it's why I've decided just to leave Film Booth right now, because that audience is just too mixed. I can't help gamers, and I can't help business people, and I can't help vloggers at the same time in a way that really impacts them. So I have to pick one of them to go all in on. But should you do the same? Well, recently Alex Hormozi came out and he said he's going to do something very similar. Now, Alex, he went really wide in the business niche. It's always kind of surprised me that he made videos about what he ate. But what he was really doing was aiming here on the chart, trying to grow the biggest audience possible. So what that meant was his thumbnail designs were for mass market, his editing was for mass market, the content depth for mass market. But now he's come out and he said he's going more specialist too, so that he can drive more value to a smaller group of people, which he knows will drop his views. So if one of the most successful educators in the world is doing this, you should too, right? Well, I actually have a problem with what he's doing and with what I'm telling you to do. And we can't really ignore this because Alex's goal was to generate as many eyeballs as possible to cast a wide net so he could filter out people to invest in. So he went wide and made mass market business content edited with faster pace to try and keep more people entertained with less detailed info. And that worked, and it meant he got the fame to achieve his result. So you could argue that actually he got it right to start, and becoming more specialist is a luxury he can now afford because he's internet famous and he's built his personal brand. And I'm doing the same thing on a smaller scale, broader to more specialist. So the thing that bugs me is, if we both started off as specialist, would either of us have got anywhere? Well, I actually think it would have been easier, but with a slightly different outcome. So let me explain. So forget the subscriber count, that would probably be lower. But what happens is, and I see this every day, if you go to town helping a specific group of people solve a specific big problem, you end up with a way more dedicated community of fans. And those fans actually want to support you and buy your products and services. That means the money comes in way faster with way less views and subscribers, and then that money can be used to help outsource editing, design, or other tasks that will grow your channel. But it also frees up your time to put into making even better or even more content, when what happens is you create a flywheel that speeds up results everywhere. When you stay more generalist, you're more likely to get no or very slow traction because you compete against the biggest creators and the masses for impressions, which means you differentiate less, have less growth, leads, motivation, less income, and you have to use a lot more of your time trying to go. And it's ultimately why the majority of people feel like they can't get any kind of real payoff and that it's all too much hard work and they quit. Whereas a specialist works smarter, not harder, and wins quicker at the sacrifice of fame in the widest area of their niche. And of course, you can always go wide later once you've learned YouTube and made money and grown a following and dominated your space. But if you're like Hormozi or me and you're taking the opposite approach, you might want to ask yourself, do I even need to bother? So to help you work out if you should become a specialist and how this all works, I'm going to put on a free live workshop for those of you who want to take this path with me, or even just consider it, or just come and laugh at me. There's a sign up link below. I'll email out the details to all of you, and if you're watching this way in the future and you missed it, just fill that out and I'll send you the recording. But before you go and do that, you might want to wait just to see what I'm going to specialize in, because it's only going to be useful to a smaller amount of people. So I'm going to leave Film Booth on its own, just where it is. Seems a little bit crazy, just leaving a channel that spent so long to build, sitting there on its own. But you know what? If I am going to show people how to become a specialist, I need a smaller channel, right? It's like, it's not fair, I'm cheating. I know it doesn't quite work like that. But yeah, Film Booth is going to be... I'm just going to leave Film Booth as it is. I want to take some risks. I want to try something new. And I don't really want to pump loads of new videos on that channel either to cover up all the old content, because I'm very proud of it. And I know a lot of you guys really enjoyed it too. So I just want to keep that there. But from now on, the channel that you're watching right now, which is called Creator Booth, is going to serve people that I understand the best, the people I can help the best. I know their problems. I had their problems. I solved their problems. They're people I've been working with for years. I hang around with them every day. My entire network is full of them. I am them. So it doesn't make any sense not to go all in on them. So this channel is going to teach people how to write and produce content in a way that relates to them a lot, so they can understand it far better. It is going to cover growth tricks still, but it's also going to show them how to build email lists and products and services and turn their channel into a business. So if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner that wants to make products and services and build a business and amazing lifestyle, this channel is for you. I won't be covering sponsorship. I won't be covering ad revenue. I won't be covering anything that applies to the entertainment channels because it would be a disservice, because it's just not my expertise. And it would also mean it would be a disservice to the people I can really help when my expertise has spent years working on Lay. So I'm going to dramatically decrease my views. But really, I didn't get into this for fame. I got into it because I wanted to make impact, and this is the best way to do it. So the style of video might change slightly too. I'm still going to do fun storytelling stuff, but there'll be more deep dives, longer content, more scaled back content, and stuff that goes into more specific problems most people probably won't be interested in. But the ones that do will hopefully have life-changing experiences. So everyone else, look, thank you so much for the years of support if you're watching this. It's been a fantastic ride, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. And if you would like to start learning about how to grow a business on YouTube, then check out these videos right here, and I'll see some of you guys on the live workshop. Oh, and by the way, if you're like, his eye looks a bit weird, I used an oven for the first time in a year and had an onion-related curry incident.